So, lads, today is our breakdown video of, we're going to be doing this for every Fever game, and we're going to be talking about the different looks, well, what the coach did to try stop Caitlin Clark, whether or not it worked. And this was preseason. Just like we saw last week, we saw some crazy stuff in preseason. However, I'm not joking when I say this. The Atlanta Dream, not quite Nate Tibbetts. If you guys know anything, like, Nate Tibbetts, literally, like, he would throw 17 different looks at Caitlin per quarter. He would throw a different look at Caitlin every single possession. However, there definitely was a lot of different things that Carl Smesco threw at Caitlin Clark, and some of it worked, some of it didn't work, some worked better than other things, and obviously they're not going to, not going to show too much in preseason, but they showed a lot more than I thought they would. So, start the game, obviously Caitlin Clark ended the game shooting 5-11 from the field. She was 5 of 8, I think, at one stage from the field. I think she missed her last 3 shots. One of her last shots, her last two shots, I think, were like half a second to go heaves. And ended with 7 assists, only 3 turnovers. Again, one of the turnovers was like a travel, which I think she might have moved her foot, but it wasn't a forced travel. She tried to kind of stop, and like for the turnovers, only one of the turnovers I'll attribute to good defense. It was the one where I think was it Naz Hillman kind of stopped the scoop wraparound pass. It was a really bad pass by Caitlin. But that's the one that we will credit to her defense. But other than that, Caitlin just had her way with the entire team because of how they were playing. So, throughout the game, Carl Smesco rotated 4 players onto Caitlin Clark, each with like different degrees of success. So, for me, actually, I was looking at it. The player who seemed to have the most success on Caitlin Clark defensively was Alicia Gray. Alicia Gray started, whenever Alicia Gray was on her, she'd be picking Caitlin Clark up 3/4 court. And what that didn't allow Caitlin Clark do was look up and throw the pass. So she got a couple of them 2-1 and Bonner late in the game, but there were a lot more times where she could have been open, and other players could have been open, and she could have gotten a couple of more assists. But Alicia Gray did pressure up quite high. Alicia Gray literally full court pressed Caitlin Clark on inbounds. They were pressing her on the inbounds because they wanted the ball to go to anyone else. They wanted the ball to go literally anyone else because they knew nobody else can run the show in any way. Like, nobody else at all can run the show on that team. So they were trying to get it into Kelsey Mitchell's hands. When Kelsey Mitchell got the ball, they just let Kelsey Mitchell walk up. They didn't really care. So the player that I think Caitlin Clark got the most success on probably was Ryan Howard. So Ryan Howard, Caitlin was able to kind of burn Ryan Howard a few times. She was able to control the entire game on Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard was switching off more than anyone. Like, a couple of times, she was like semi-open, or it's not semi-open. She like had gotten a lot of other players open, and Ryan Howard, who's meant to be this all-world defender, did not do a great job on Caitlin Clark. Walker Kimbrough was not guarding her long enough for me to really say anything too crazy. I think other than Walker Kimbrough flopping when Caitlin Clark nudged her arm, and then Caitlin Clark flopping right after that on Ryan Howard. The Walker Kimbrough minutes, I don't think anything really happened. But Caitlin Clark, once Te-Hina Paopao stepped on her, Te-Hina Paopao, like, Caitlin got literally whatever she wanted. She'd be able to go left, she was able to go right. She got a scoop assist to Duana Bonner. The minutes that she was on, I don't know why I said Ryan Howard was least successful. It was Te-Hina Paopao. The minutes Te-Hina Paopao guarded Caitlin Clark was just, that might have violated the Geneva Convention. Like, it was no question about it. The craziest time when we saw Caitlin in preseason. Like, whatever at Brazil, it was literally like, against Brazil, she was kind of, playing it like it was an exhibition. When Tahina Paopao was on her, especially because Tahina Paopao was giving her the business on the other end. Tahina Paopao got the AM1 to start it all off. Tahina Paopao was giving Caitlin a bit of the business on one end. So Caitlin just decides to go, okay, yeah, I'm going to go. At one stage, Tahina Paopao hacked Caitlin, and Caitlin was able to step to the right and still hit the shot. But I don't think that's a matchup they're going to go with during the season. I think Paopao is definitely playing her way into the rotation, but I would be shocked if they go to that matchup. I would assume it's going to be, especially early on in the season, it's going to be Ryan or Alicia on her, and they're going to have to just hope that Walker Kimbrough is going to be able to guard one, or is going to be able to guard Kelsey Mitchell, which I don't think is going to happen during the season. But one other thing that was really interesting was how they were playing her on off-ball screens. They were like jumping the screens and daring Caitlin Clark to just cut in for layups. Like, and it wasn't like just a normal like jump a bit. It was the most exaggerated jump I'd ever seen. So if Caitlin Clark literally had just taken a step up and just darted to the basket, she had a layup every time. They were guarding the off-ball screens so badly. So badly. And if I was obviously a Fever watching game tape back at this, you'll be able to take advantage of that every single time. Like, their defense, everybody else on the court was played honestly. They played everyone else's honest defense. They did not play, like, their whole thing was get the ball out of Caitlin's hands. And they did a good job of that part, but they did a horrible job of not letting Caitlin get open. Like, Caitlin got open more times today than I saw her in all of last season. It was just a couple of times, like, she was being missed by Natasha Howard. She was being missed by Sydney Colson when she was wide open. Like, she was wide the F open quite a bit. So, the Atlanta Dream also, when it went to the starters, played this like it was Game 5 of the finals. They went for it. They went for this win. So, as much as you would like to say, oh, it doesn't really matter, it's preseason. When a team goes for the win like the Atlanta Dream did, you can't just write it off like it's preseason. You can still take stuff from the game. And this was a game where Caitlin didn't have, in my opinion, she didn't have her greatest game. And she still, in 23 minutes, had 13 points, 6 boards, 7 assists. Like, if she plays what her normal would be, like 32, 33 minutes, you're looking at an 18-point triple-double on pretty decent efficiency, which is a scary game. And again, only 3 turnovers, and it's not like she was throwing turnovers all the time. The turnovers were, one of them was forced by the defense. And on the defensive end, Caitlin Clark still, if you watch back on her playing off the ball, she constantly turns her head. Her positional sense is horrendous. But Caitlin's on-ball defense is really good. And she does a very good job now of kind of jumping and forcing refusals on the screen, which is what they seem to be playing. They seem to be, especially when it is Caitlin, they're refusing all screens for the Fever. The Atlanta Dream also did not do a good enough job of the best way to get to go at Caitlin Clark is to force her to play defense. Is to force her to play off-ball defense, which she's still not very good at. However, they just did not do a great job at that. They threw full court press. They threw denying. Obviously, they denied Caitlin off the ball. Everyone's going to deny Caitlin off the ball. That's not a major coaching thing. But they threw full court press. They threw 3/4 court press. They threw half court press. They threw denying off the ball. They threw jumping screens. The one thing they didn't even try to do was blitz. They did not even attempt to blitz a single Caitlin Clark screen, which basically allowed Caitlin to do whatever the hell she wanted. Like, because they were playing up high but not blitzing the screens, she was able to just curl the screens. She was able to curl the screens and get space off that. She was able to kind of just stop, start, and get to the basket. It was really poor defensive tactics, and I wouldn't look too much into this normally because it's preseason, except when teams play the Fever, they go and play. They go and play, and maybe the logic is that he wasn't going to show any blitzes or anything, because even though he could show them with Naz Hillman, you're not going to be able to show a lot of that with Brittany Griner. You're going to have to play some drop coverage with Griner. So maybe that's the logic of we weren't going to throw some blitzes in because with Naz Hillman and stuff. He's going to have to show up drop coverage during the season. But I mean, I don't know. Either way, though, that is the breakdown. I rewatched this entire game, every single possession, no commentary on, just so I could watch it back. And even though I don't think Caitlin herself had the greatest game, all of Caitlin's everything Caitlin did wrong was Caitlin doing it wrong. If you get me, like Caitlin was making mistakes. It wasn't the defense forcing mistakes on her, which is again probably a better thing. Like right now, there's if a team like the Dream just can't stop her. The only person that can stop her is her. Anyway, yeah, that is the video. I will see you guys.